And as momentum builds ahead of the 2027 elections, electoral body INEC has confirmed it has received 91 applications for the registration of new political parties. Now, it comes amid accusations from opposition groups who allege that INEC is deliberately hindering the registration of new parties in preparation for the elections. Now, the PDP, that's the People's Democratic Party, stated that the number of applications reflects a lack of unity among opposition leaders, while the new Nigeria People's Party called it a testament to the incompetence of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Now, the Labour Party, however, welcomed the development but called on INEC to carefully review all applications before proceeding with registration.
Well, let's bring in Arise News analyst Mahmoud Jega to help us make sense of this. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, my dear sir.
Is this a case of the more the merrier? I mean, can you help us understand the scale of these demands? And you've seen those opposition political parties react. PDP says is a lack of cohesion. NNPP says it shows disappointment in the governing party. Labour Party says, oh, welcome. Welcome. You know, the more the merrier. What do you think?
The more the merrier, but when it is more than a certain threshold, it is a case of the more the messiah. You see, when we started this republic in 1998-99, we had only 3 political parties that were registered under the military. Before the 2003 election, due to a Supreme Court judgment that liberalized the election process, 2 more parties were registered. They became 5. Yeah. At one point, I think before the 2011 or 2015 election, we had more than 90 registered political parties, and all of them were there on the ballot paper. There was even one called A, you know, on the ballot paper. I think they put it like that so that they would be on top, you know, of the alphabet. Now, right now we have 18 registered political parties.
Yes.
Multi-partyism is very good, but 18, in my opinion, is even on the high side. Not to talk of now we have 80, if you register another 91. Because although someone was saying INEC should be careful, I think it's
Labour Party.
Labour Party should be careful. But you know, there is very little to be careful about, because the screening, the qualification criteria has been made very low. That if you just open an office in Abuja and bring a list of officials and all that, really that's about all that it takes to be qualified. So in the end, if we are not careful, all these 91 could be registered, unless if they carelessly submit their nomination form, then they will join the 18. So you have 100 and how many now? That's too much. It was one of the things that caused problem even in the 2019 election. The ballot paper was so long. Yes. In a society where we have 31% illiteracy rate, people who are illiterate will not be able to even find the party they are looking for when the ballot paper is that so long. It also contributed to the logistical problems, because the ballot paper was so long. When they were flown in from abroad, it was so heavy. I remember one commissioner told me that by the time he saw the cartons of ballot paper at the airport, the Air Force came. They were to help distribute them to the states. The Air Force Marshal took one look at it and said, this cannot be done in good time. There were too many, and the length of the ballot paper was a factor in the size of the consignments. Yeah. So even because of that, we have to be careful. And really, I don't see how anybody cannot find accommodation among 18 political parties.
You actually bring me to the question that I was going to ask you. I mean, does Nigeria need more political parties, or a clearly defined ideological, leaning that they can actually line up behind?
That's what we need. Yeah. Because throughout the Second Republic, we had 5 political parties. Okay, towards the end, the Nigeria Advanced Party of Tunji Braithwaite was registered, and they became 6. The politics of that time was much more vibrant, much more focused, much more determined, very competitive. All those 6 political parties, at least the first 5, were very viable. In the 1979 election, the lowest any party got was to capture 2 states. That time we had 19 states. PLP got 2, GMPP got 2, NNPP got 3, UPN got 5, and MPN got 7. Very, very competitive elections that we have. But look at what we have now. These 18 political parties, the last election that we have in 2023, some of them got almost 0 votes. Any vote that they got was probably a mistake by some rural folk.
So even the candidates themselves did not vote for themselves. So how best really can INEC, sieve between the contenders, the real contenders, and the pretenders? That's on the one hand. I'd like you to respond to that. On the other hand, those who are arguing for multi-party system are saying, look, it will make for a broader opposition, and that is what a polity like Nigeria needs at this time. Okay,
I don't know. INEC is boxed in by the Electoral Act and the guidelines provided therein. Yeah. So once party submits an application and it meets the criteria, and in this case the bar is very, very low. So that is the problem. So that is why at one point we ended up with 90-something parties. The only thing is that at the end of a general election, any party that does not win at least one state assembly seat anywhere in the country will have its registration cancelled. But then already time has been wasted with all the costs. Now if all these 91 are registered and they all participate in the next election, maybe only 5 or 6 and most 7 of them will capture a state assembly seat somewhere. Then you have to deregister 90-something again. So why did we waste time with all of them? And you see, the problem we have in Nigerian politics is the phenomenon of briefcase political parties. Somebody registers a political party, is the only member. He carries it, the certificate of registration, a briefcase. He is waiting for the major parties to hold their primary election. And anybody who loses there and is desperately looking for a chance to be on the ballot will come to you. I experienced that many times in Kaduna, especially. Somebody will come by, pay the party chairman who is alone in the office. He will just fill the nomination form and give you, and you will appear on the ballot. What that means, I don't know, but some politicians are desperate to be on the ballot. That on election day, I'm there.
So I mean, it does look like INEC is damned if they do and damned if they don't. Because I recall that INEC, some political parties took INEC to court, and the court had decided that INEC could not deregister them because of the freedom to associate and all of that and all of that.
But that's guaranteed by the Constitution.
Yes, but we have seen this pattern before. So many political parties emerge before elections and then they disappear after elections. Is this a case of opportunism to gain financial benefits by these political parties?
Okay, at the beginning of this republic and in the years before that, the federal government used to give grants to political parties.
Yes.
And that was the main incentive at that time, everybody trying to get. But at some point, that system was stopped. The government no longer gives grants to political parties. But still, there are advantages, as I said. If you are holding a registered political party in your briefcase, some desperate politician who fails to get nominated in any of the major parties will run to you and they pay something, and then you nominate, you nominate him to run for the election. We have to somehow strengthen the party registration rules.
The criteria?
The criteria, exactly. Well, in the Second Republic, the criteria was quite tough. It said a party must have a functional office with executives in at least 2/3 of the states of the federation. That was why only 5 parties managed to get registered. But now if you say the criteria is only have an office anywhere in Abuja, okay, you can go to one ghetto area and open a small office and say these are the executives. That's almost the only criteria. Anybody will get registered.
INEC has said they've received 91 applications. Whether INEC has a right to reject any of these applications remains to be seen. We have to say thank you very much, Mahmoud Jega, Arise analyst, for joining us on Newsnight. Thank you.